In a sunny, green meadow lived a little donkey named Dusty. Now, Dusty wasn't like the other donkeys. While they were content munching on sweet grass and enjoying the warm sun, Dusty had a dream. He wanted to be fast. Faster than the wind, faster than the river, faster than any donkey had ever been before. He would watch the horses gallop across the fields, their manes flying, their powerful legs eating up the ground. "Oh, I wish I could run like that," he'd sigh. He'd watch the rabbits darting through the bushes, quick as a flash. "If only I had their speed," he'd mumble to himself. His best friend, a wise old owl named Professor Hoot, would often find him practicing. Dusty would try to gallop like a horse, but his short legs would just get tangled up. He'd try to sprint like a rabbit, but he'd end up tripping over his own hooves. "Dusty, my dear boy," Professor Hoot would say, perched on a branch above him, "why this obsession with speed? Being a donkey is a wonderful thing. You are strong, you are steady, you are reliable." But Dusty wouldn't listen. "Strong and steady is boring, Professor," he'd reply, panting from his efforts. "I want to be exciting. I want to be fast." One sunny morning, the annual meadow marathon was announced. It was a grand race around the entire meadow, over hills, through the woods, and across the babbling brook. The grand prize was a shiny golden horseshoe, said to bring good luck to whoever owned it. All the fast animals were entering: Felix the fox, Ricky the rabbit, and of course Henry the horse, the reigning champion. Dusty's heart leaped. This was his chance. His chance to prove that a donkey could be fast. He went straight to the sign-up sheet and, with a determined hoof, wrote his name, Dusty the donkey. The other animals snickered when they saw his name. A donkey in the meadow marathon? Chortled Felix the fox. He'll be lucky if he finishes by next winter. Henry the horse just tossed his magnificent mane and said, "It's a race for runners, not for plodders." Their words stung, but they only made Dusty more determined. He started training harder than ever before. He woke up before the sun, running laps around the meadow until his legs ached. He tried to eat fast food, like quick-growing clover, thinking it might make him faster. He even tried tying feathers to his ears, hoping they'd help him catch the wind. Professor Hoot watched him with concern. "Dusty," he advised one evening, "speed isn't just about how fast your legs can move. It's about strategy. It's about knowing the path and using your own strengths." He pulled out a map of the racecourse. "Look here," he said, pointing with his wing. "The path through the whispering woods is full of tricky routes. The horses will have to slow down. And this hill, the steep climb, it will tire out the sprinters like Ricky the rabbit." Dusty looked at the map. He'd been so focused on running fast that he hadn't thought about the course at all. He started to listen to the old owl's advice. Instead of just trying to run like a horse, he started practicing on difficult terrain. He walked through the woods, memorizing the location of every twisted route. He climbed the steep climb over and over again, building the strength in his sturdy legs. He wasn't just training to be fast anymore, he was training to be smart. Finally, the day of the meadow marathon arrived. The starting line was buzzing with excitement. All the contestants were there, stretching and hopping, ready to go. Dusty stood among them, feeling a little nervous, but also surprisingly calm. He remembered Professor Hoot's words, "Use your own strengths." The starting whistle blew, and they were off. As expected, Henry the horse shot into the lead, his long legs a blur of motion. Ricky the rabbit and Felix the fox were right behind him. Dusty was at the very back, plodding along at his steady donkey pace. The crowd laughed. "We told you so," someone shouted. Dusty ignored them. He kept his pace, steady and strong. He remembered this was a long race, not a short sprint. Soon they reached the Whispering Woods. Just as Professor Hoot had predicted, Henry the horse had to slow down, carefully picking his way around the roots to avoid tripping. Ricky the rabbit, used to open fields, got confused in the dense trees. But Dusty, he knew this part of the course like the back of his own hoof. He navigated the twisted path with ease, his steady steps never faltering. To his own surprise, he passed Ricky and Felix, who were struggling in the undergrowth. Next came the steep climb. The hill was much steeper than it looked. Henry the horse, with his heavy muscles, began to pant, his pace slowing significantly. The smaller animals were getting tired. But Dusty felt a surge of energy. This was what he had trained for. His strong, sturdy legs, which he used to think were too short and slow, were perfect for climbing. Step by steady step, he climbed the hill. And at the very top, he did something incredible. He passed Henry the horse. The crowd gasped. No one could believe it. Dusty the donkey was in the lead. But the race wasn't over. The final stretch was a long, flat run to the finish line across the meadow. Henry, now on flat ground again, found his second wind. He started to gallop, closing the distance between them. Dusty could hear his powerful hooves thundering closer and closer. Panic began to set in. He's faster than me, Dusty thought. I can't win. He felt his legs wanting to give up. But then he looked at the finish line. He thought of all his hard work, of Professor Hoot's wise words, of his dream. He wasn't the fastest, no. But he was the strongest. He was the steadiest. He was a donkey. He dug deep and pushed forward. He couldn't gallop like Henry, but he could keep his powerful, rhythmic pace. It was a nail-biting finish. Henry was gaining. The crowd was on its feet, roaring with excitement. Dusty put every ounce of his strength into his final steps. And then he was across. He had crossed the finish line just a nose ahead of Henry the horse. He had won. The meadow erupted in cheers. Dusty stood there, panting, his heart thumping, unable to believe it. Felix the fox and Ricky the rabbit came up to him. "We're sorry we laughed at you, Dusty," said Ricky. "You were amazing." Henry the horse trotted over, looking at Dusty with newfound respect. "You didn't win with speed," Henry said. "You won with heart. And strength. Congratulations." Professor Hoot flew down and landed on his shoulder. "I'm so proud of you, Dusty," he hooted softly. "You see, you didn't need to be a horse or a rabbit. You just needed to be the best donkey you could be." As they placed the shiny golden horseshoe around his neck, Dusty looked at it, then at his friends, and at the cheering crowd. He realized he had been wrong. He didn't want to be the fastest anymore. He just wanted to be himself. He learned that true success doesn't come from being like someone else, but from embracing your own unique strengths and working hard to be the very best version of you. And from that day on, Dusty the donkey was known not for being the fastest, but for being the champion with the biggest heart in the whole meadow. Thanks for watching our story today. If you liked Dusty's adventure, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.